What's up, guys? It's your man, Donovan Sharpe, and welcome to this edition of Crypto Oasis. Pardon me. For whatever reason, we are not live on Facebook, but you know what? I don't really care because Facebook is not really good for anything these days. I, of course, am your host, Donovan Sharpe. Joining me today are two of the foremost experts in the crypto game. We have Cultivate Crypto and Dollar Cost Crypt. Gentlemen, how are we doing this evening? Morning.
Doing good.
Amazing.
So it's evening on the West Coast. It's late afternoon here. I'm sorry, evening on the East Coast, late afternoon here on the West Coast, and 10:30 a.m. in Tokyo?
Correct on Sunday.
I got it right. Right.
There you go.
I never get it right with MLD, dude. I'm always like, is it 9 o'clock? He's like, dude, it's like September 4th at like 2:15 p.m. What are you talking about? Either way, it is good to be with you guys today. Had a dynamite show yesterday. The phone lines are open. Call in with your crypto questions. Call in with your Bitcoin, crypto. Let's see what else. Call in with your Ethereum questions. If you call in about, what is it, XR? If you call in with XRP questions, I'm going to hang up on you immediately. I'm not doing that. I'm trying to see Miguel turn red on the screen, trying to keep it YouTube friendly. So let's go ahead and get right into it, guys. So Bitcoin, I think this weekend topped what, 48,000, something like that?
Yeah, it almost hit 50,000. It was above 48. Doing pretty good. I think the actual high this week, just to be precise about it, yeah, it's $49,000 on the dot.
$49,000 on the dot. Now, before we get started, if you would, Charlie, go ahead and share the screen. Share my information. Tell the people how much money you have made me. This is incredible stuff. Go.
All righty. So
I'm looking at $9,366. I gave you $4,000. You have made me $5,300 in 6 weeks. That's incredible.
Yep, way more money than we started with, and only getting better. So last week when we were on the show, it was $6,400 or so dollars, so about a $3,000 increase over the last 1 week. And then here's the interesting part, right? Because we're measuring both in terms of Bitcoin and dollars, right? So in terms of dollars, yeah, we've more than doubled it. In terms of Bitcoin, we're still a little bit less than a double. We're at about, we started at 0.12 and it's at 0.196, so almost 0.2. So how this happened in terms of like the increase of Bitcoin versus the increase of dollars. So when we diversified out of Bitcoin, right, we originally had 100% in Bitcoin.
Okay.
We diversified 80 or 90% out of that into Ethereum, yep. Right? And so Ethereum was outpacing Bitcoin at the beginning of the month. So we went from that 0.12 to the almost 0.2 now phase, mainly because of that, because Ethereum was outpacing Bitcoin. But now over the last, I would say 1 week, both of them have been going up. So the dollars have been increasing, but Ethereum and Bitcoin mainly are kind of neck and neck over the last 1 week. So kind of what I see coming forward from here is Bitcoin is right at its 50,000. Well, basically $47,000 to $50,000 was the first target on the breakout from the downtrend.
Yes.
The next target for Bitcoin, believe it or not, is here at about $63,500.
Woo!
So things are going to get really, really good. And with Ethereum, right, we have basically hit its target here at about 1,800. Now, so we hit that target for about 3 days and was resisted there. Now we're above there for 3 days and getting that as support. So Ethereum should continue its climb here, right? It has plenty of space on the Bollinger Bands, which means it could go up to $2,000 relatively soon within the next 1 week. And Bitcoin starting to try to tap against that 50K area. But I think Ethereum has more upside in the short term. And the date that I've been telling people on my channel to watch is February 22nd. If we have more, I guess, highs on Bitcoin past February 22nd, then this 64,000 should be hit. Plus, and that would be around mid to late May, around the time that we're doing the crypto mindset course. So lots and lots of gains to be made. I would say our main goal for this account, right, is to get to the 0.24. So we're on a double compared to Bitcoin. And then we can start diversifying into some altcoins as well, now that we have some pretty good cushion.
Yes, I absolutely love it. I wanted to wait for a few more people to get in here. This episode of Crypto Oasis is brought to you by the Crypto Mindset course. Guys, go to cryptomindsetcourse.com. That launches on March the 5th. Talk to me a little bit, Charlie, and I'll get Miguel to jump in here as well, about what the Crypto Mindset course entails, what you're going to get with it, and all that fun stuff.
Yeah, so the Crypto Mindset course is 20 webinars from, we actually do the sales, right? You can buy the course only for 5 days from March 5th on Friday, March 5th until midnight on Tuesday, March 9th.
Okay.
From there, we close up shop. We've gotten about 250 people on the short list for the email. So if you go to cryptomindsetcourse.com, that link there, then you can sign up for the short list on the email list and then make sure that you get notified on March 5th. And then we start the webinars on Friday, March 12th. And then we go for 20 webinars. And we have a couple breaks in between so that people, have some time to review. But the first third of the course is to get everybody on the same page. Just basically anybody who's new to crypto, it's not going to be too overwhelming. You can get into here and start basically taking what would probably take you 3 to 6 months to learn as a new beginner and do that in like 3 or 4 days. So wow. It's definitely a fast track. And then for people who are in crypto right now and want to increase their skills, the second 1/3 is intermediate level. And then the last 1/3 is an advanced level course. So we do everything. By the time we get to the end of the course, I would say there's going to be a lot to review. So if somebody misses some of the live webinars or somebody doesn't get all the information on the first go, we do record them. And then people can go back and review those as well.
Okay, perfect. Now, Miguel, a lot of people like to say, well, listen, I would love to get into Bitcoin. Like the course sounds great, but all of this seems very, very overwhelming. Talk to the guy who really wants to do this, but he's on the fence about, listen, 20 webinars sounds great, but how in the world can I possibly consume that much information and put it into action immediately?
Well, when you're in the course, right, you're going to be there with other people that are around your same level as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we have people, just like Charlie said, we have people that are both first time to crypto, intermediate to advanced. And we have essentially a selection of information for every single group. For someone that's just starting off, I know it's scary to start, but I mean, you're already in the right place. If you're over here already looking for information, it's already captivated your mind and you're starting to see what's going to happen in the future with cryptocurrencies. So something that this course can do is essentially just speed you up in your process of doing it. So me and Charlie essentially do about a 2-hour webinar, both in the morning and in the afternoon, both at 7 Pacific Standard Time, PM and AM.
Okay.
And what happens in the course is it's 2 hours of the content. Then from there, we go into a 2-hour Q&A where we answer everybody's questions. That you don't have to show your face. You can literally go. You can be like this. if you don't want to show your face, but
that's great. I love that the avatar was a suit. That was
no, of course. but taking people through that and everything, that we answer their questions, we help them out, and then two, the other part of the course that's so amazing is that each course that we end up doing is like a graduating class. So this class is going to be a decent size, and what ends up happening is that you'll end up making a lot of other friends and connections within the course itself. And you're growing along other friends that are also going into crypto for the first time. And what ends up happening is you end up creating the social circle, and then everyone's starting to do things. And what ends up happening is the social circle pushes you to keep studying cryptocurrencies. Or like you end up having a friend in the course and he's like, dude, have you checked Chainlink out? No, I haven't. You look into Chainlink, you're like, whoa, this is amazing. And then you advance. And it's this whole thing. It's this whole thing of like from the red pill of having this circle of basically men to help push you along. And it's the same thing in cryptocurrencies. I mean, like a lot of the people in cryptocurrencies are from the red pill as well. So this community jives so well.
No, I agree. I think it does. I think and it's interesting. I think cryptocurrency is the red pill of finances. That's what I think. I think it wasn't popular at first, but the more people find out about it, the more people buy in, namely men. So guys, listen, be sure to get on that short list, man. Cryptomindsetcourse.com. That is cryptomindsetcourse.com. I'm going to link it in the description. The links are also all in the chat. I'm going to spam it all day long. MLD is in the house. He says, I am here for the free money. Free money we are giving away. Just kidding. Shout out to Modern Life Dating out there in Tokyo, probably drunk off something. Let's go ahead and get
Opium,
right to it,
baby. Opium.
Yeah, right. The phone lines are open, 516-387-1987. Call in with your crypto-related questions. So here is the $1 million question. So Bitcoin hit $49,000. And a lot of guys who have sort of waited for, I guess, the bubble to burst. The bubble isn't bursting. I think that was clear. The last time crypto was at like $46,000, that was 2-3 weeks ago. You guys predicted it. It's gonna go down a little bit, but then it's gonna come right back up. And here we are now. As of right this second, we are standing at $47,672 and 81 cents. That's where it stands right now. And so a lot of guys are thinking to themselves, man, I missed the boat. I could have got in when it was at $30,000 back when everybody was talking about it, but now it's at $47,000. So let me start here with dollar cost crypt. Is it too late for guys to get into Bitcoin, or is there room for guys to get in now and still experience the same kind of growth and profits that you guys have gotten for me?
Yes.
Okay.
Definitely is. So, but the time frame has now been condensed a little bit. You want to get in before $60,000 Bitcoin.
Yes.
That's the magic number. The reason we said that number is that's basically roughly around the $1 trillion market cap for Bitcoin. At that point, when we hit about $57,000 to about $60,000 per BTC, the news media is going to go crazy. Whoa, Bitcoin just hit $1 trillion market cap, $1 trillion. You'll hear it everywhere. And this is when we're going to start getting a lot of the retail really getting in. And by retail, I mean just normal everyday people, friends and family are just going to start here. And it's going to start turning into Bitcoin mania. So this mania has not started yet. We've just started to cook really in the first place. So the minute we hit that $60,000, $57,000 price target at that point, then we're going to start getting a parabolic rise in new users. We've just gotten Venmo to join up as well. Oh
wow! So here they come. Here they come, dude.
Yeah, here they come. I mean, it's everything's coming. I mean, even JP Morgan just says, well, if our customers are demanding cryptocurrencies, I mean, I guess we could sell some.
So the short answer is yes, there is absolutely still time.
Yes.
Cultivate Crypto, what are your thoughts? Is it do you agree or disagree? Well, let me ask you this question first. Is it too late to realize the kinds of gains that we have realized? Number one. Number two, do you agree or disagree with get in at under $60,000 if you still want a chance to be able to do this?
Yeah, the first answer would be, yeah, there's plenty of time to make the same amount of gains that we've made in the last month and a half. No problem. And then in terms of, the $60,000, yeah, I wholeheartedly agree that $60,000 after that point, my recommendations for people who are brand new to crypto will be slightly different. So right now, I'm mainly recommending, hey, get 10% of your account in Bitcoin. You want definitely some related or some in Bitcoin. But after 60,000, it's like, okay, if whatever you want related to Bitcoin, like if it's 1%, 5% of your portfolio, whatever, feel free to do so. But understand that the longer we go in this market, the higher the risk is for these different cryptocurrencies, right? And I don't mean that in like a supremely negative way. The way that I mean that is, well, the upside for Bitcoin, does become actually, me and Miguel were talking about this. There is an argument that you could say the actual target has increased in terms of how far this bull market can go for Bitcoin in terms of price, but then in terms of how much upside is there compared to other cryptocurrencies. Now with more confidence in the altcoins, I would say that there's going to be more opportunities to gain more with the altcoins, but of course those are higher risk as well. So for the people who are more risk averse, I would say, yeah, by all means, feel free to get some Bitcoin. I just will be less adamant for my recommendations of how much people should get.
Gotcha. Okay, that makes sense. So in other words, don't go absolutely crazy then, correct?
Correct.
Correct. I mean, Ethereum, is the main one that since I would say December, we've been mainly telling people get mainly into Ethereum. And once Ethereum gets past, $6,000, then it's basically, okay, Bitcoin maybe a little bit too expensive to get into from the beginning. Ethereum may be too expensive after 6,000, then okay, what's next after that? But at the same time, you still want those because they're the main ones. And then it's also, I guess, another way to look at this question, because I know some people in the chat have said like, oh, it's never too late to get to Bitcoin, which I agree with wholeheartedly. And so then if you come from that angle, one thing you have to think about is, what are you getting in for, right? Are you getting in for a short-term pump, or are you getting in for the decade? So there's going to be a difference when it comes to that as well.
Okay. And Miguel often talks about this, and a lot of people, they ask the same question. What percentage of my portfolio should be in Bitcoin? And Miguel's answer was spot on. It really depends upon where you are in life. If you're a younger guy, if you're in your 20s, 30s, maybe early 40s like I am, maybe a little bit more should be in crypto. If you're in your twilight years, 50s, 60s, 70s, then it needs to be raw materials, hard cash, and then maybe 10% crypto. I like that answer a lot. We've got a couple of callers on the line. We've got Kitchen in Raleigh. We've got Kevin in LA. Those guys are coming right up. Let's answer a couple of super chats, then we'll get right to the phone lines. Wake Dog 499 says, can we talk about Hex tonight, today too? If you want to, Wake Dog, if you would, I wish that was a more specific question so that we can address that, but I'll come back to it a little bit later if we can find something specific to talk about. I appreciate the super chat. Andrew Landerville, $5 says, it's me, your boy, Andrew Landerville, just here to tell you how I was right about Dogecoin. 800% return in one day. Hashtag no hate, bro. Hashtag just messing with you. If this was the very first show, I'd have been like, 800%. What are we waiting for? But I know better now. You guys aren't saying that stuff by me. I appreciate that very much. Nonstop Dre 360, $2 says, what's best to get, Trezor or Ledger? Dollar cost. Let's start with you. Which one's better, Trezor or Ledger?
Trezor all the way, man. That's
okay.
Trezor's my boo.
So Trezor is Miguel's apparent side piece at this point. What are your thoughts, Charlie? You agree?
Yeah, I agree 100%. It's open source. Also, the Model T is probably one of the best models on the market. So Trezor Model T is what I would recommend. Okay,
perfect. Very good. Good, succinct answers. Let us go to Kitchen in Raleigh. Kitchen in Raleigh, you are on live with Crypto Oasis. What is your question, my friend?
Yeah, my question is, I've been studying Solidity for a few months, and I'm getting better at it. I'm able to write simple code. One of the things that I wanted to do, I wanted to get your thoughts on, guys, is I want to create a stable coin that is equal to not the dollar but the penny, and then I'd like to eventually create a social media platform similar to YouTube, where in order to comment or even watch a video, you have to pay in that. I'll just call it penny coin. I haven't came up with the name. Actually, I like the term Litecoin, like Like, Litecoin. And essentially what it would be is users on the platform, if I like I'm about to like this video right now, Donovan. So essentially I just sent you 1 penny. And
gotcha.
Like I'd have I thought about having it so that like 90% went to like Donovan, and then 10% would go into the company. And that way it would be like an ad-free sort of social media platform. I wondered, what do you guys think about that? Is that doable?
That is an incredible. I like where your head is at, Charlie. What are your thoughts on that, man?
Yeah, the first thing I would recommend is to study the competition. And right now, there's a lot going on in that field, so there's a lot to be had for sure. So there's a lot of different potential outcomes within that area, and there's no clear winners yet. So you can definitely whether it's building something from scratch or adding to what already exists, or, taking a few different things from each competitor of what's going on and adding, making something better. Lots and lots of opportunity with that. I don't know if you're using Solidity, is that going to be the best language to do so? You got to study all of that. But yeah, just do a lot of market research before you put too much time into it.
Okay, very good. Miguel, what do you think of the idea? I've got a business mind, and I like where his head is at. Yeah. How doable do you think this is?
It's doable, but there is some sort of hiccups and stuff in terms of, so you could get in. Are you in the States?
Yeah, I'm in Raleigh, North Carolina.
Okay, so you have to be very careful when you create a cryptocurrency, especially a stable coin, because the government could go after you for creating a stable coin. So if you were to create a stable coin, most stable coins are kind of created outside of the United States, or just have enough financial connections, like something like a PayPal really backs something called like an RSR or RSV, which is a stable backed cryptocurrency. But that's PayPal. So you have to be very careful, and you have to look into the laws in terms of making a stable coin. More than likely, it'll have to be a decentralized stable coin. What that means that you will have no control over it. It could be possibly controlled through something called a DAO, which is something you might have to look into. What that means is like it's a decentralized government essentially on the blockchain. So you set certain parameters. It's agreed upon with the people inside of the network, and at that point, it just runs by itself. Then from there, you would create the company. The only part would from there you would essentially have to figure out how you render all those videos. You could probably use something called let me see if LivePeer. There's a token called LivePeer which you could probably borrow, or it can be really cheap for you to render videos on. So look into LivePeer, or possibly look into the business model of Theta. So those two right there. So Theta is using it's business to consumer, which is using people's computers in order to help them run the network. And then there's something like LivePeer, which is business to business, which is like their business is essentially they'll sell you essentially bandwidth for very cheap because people are staking their computers on those networks. So those are, I would say, those are two places you would look into if you were thinking about starting this. But be careful when it comes to creating a cryptocurrency, because the states are, they're tough on it.
Wow, oh, go ahead, Kitchen.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I thought about that. I thought that might have been like more complicated and maybe less profitable. And I thought of another alternative would be to create a like I said, the same like a social media platform like YouTube, where like if I'm watching anybody who's watching Donovan's content or anybody's content, it's using their browser. It runs like a JavaScript in the background to mine cryptocurrency.
Man,
so you're getting paid basically directly on viewership. There's no like advertisement.
Yeah. I like the idea, man. Listen, I like the idea. I think, and here's the thing, man. If it were that easy, then somebody would have done it already and everybody would do it, but it's not. And if you could pull that off, Kitchen, man, that would be, I don't know that I've ever heard of. Have either of you guys ever heard of anything like this?
There's a few that are.
I used to study CoinHive. CoinHive used to do it for Monero, but I haven't seen any other coin that had that capability.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think it's a matter of like doing the market research, going and taking like this from that project, this from the other project. I mean, if you can find a lot of open source information out there too, it might be easier to build, because if somebody's already built some of the pieces to it. So, yeah, go ahead.
Okay, very good.
There's something called the Graft. Look into the Graft. The Graft may have smart contracts you can borrow to kind of help you piece it together like Legos.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
So it's almost like Bitcoin creation for dummies, more or less.
Yeah. It's basically the Graft is like the Google for smart contracts. So you do have to pay a little bit here and there, but it'll speed up the whole process for you if you're willing to do that. And then I mean, just go off of the lean startup. Essentially, make something simple first and see if it's catchy, and just that's how you do it. You got to do if you're going to do this, you got to do it like the lean startup, because you're not going to have the resources to make it all fancy at first. Right. But as long as it sort of works, you've shown concept, then from there you can probably have people fund you in the future, and then boom, you're off to the races, dude.
Kitchen, I have some good news.
Thank you.
Kitchen, listen, I have some good news. I'm just getting word that Litecoin has opened at $576,432.51. So you're off to a pretty good start, man.
It's overpriced, dude. I'm going to short it. You got to short it.
Now, see, I understand what he's talking about there. I'm starting to get the hang of it, man. Kitchen, listen, as always, thank you very much for calling in. I think that's a fascinating idea, guys. I think if he could pull that off, that would be something very interesting. Kevin in LA, we're going to come to you next. We're going to answer a few more super chat questions, and then we will go to Kevin in LA. Guys, the phone lines are open. 516-387-1987. That is 516-387-1987. Do not forget to get on the waiting list for the Crypto Mindset course that drops on March the 5th. That comes with 20 companion podcasts, 2 2-hour Q&A sessions, everyone from, beginning to intermediate to advanced. There's something for everyone here. If you guys want to get into Bitcoin, if you want to learn to do it like these guys, the Crypto Mindset course is absolutely the way to go. There's nothing else like it on the internet, guys. Like, there's nobody else offering a comprehensive course like this that so thoroughly takes you and dissects everything cryptocurrency and allows you to be successful. So you guys need to get on the waiting list now. There's only there's 250 now. I think you guys are closing the course at like 500 people. So you guys need to get on that right away. Here is another. I just had it. Give me a second. Okay, we just talked about Trezor. Android 17 with the $2 Canadian super chat. He says, "What's going to be new to the course compared to Q1?" Charlie, I'll let you answer that first.
Yeah, every quarter, right, we have a different strategy for what is happening in the cryptocurrency market. Basically, 1 month in crypto is 6 months in a lot of other markets, or even a whole year in other markets. So things will change massively. So what we're looking at coming into the course this quarter that's different from the last two courses is in the Q4 2020 course, when we started that a month in advance in September, right, we're going right into an October buy period. So right into a huge increase in price. That was, just buy in, and here's the different coins that we want to buy. Then last quarter at the end of the year, right, there was like a little bit of indecision, but basically the price mainly continued up. So it was buying the correct coins there. Whereas with now, we're already in a buy period. And I think we're going to have to start playing a little bit more defense come March, April. So the next quarter might be a little bit more tough for the people who are used to just like gains in a bull market, right? It's more about securing those gains and making sure that you keep what you've made so far. So we're going to go a little bit more into defensive strategies to make sure that people realize their gains, because there's a lot of people out there during this bull market. They feel overconfident. Yeah, I'm making all this money. Great. And then something changes in the market they don't expect. They don't have any strategies for how to deal with that. And like you said before, when the market's going down, can you make some money, or can you at least, maintain what you've made so far without giving too much back to the market? So that's one of the main topics that we'll be expounding upon. But then also, of course, we're going to be adding new material as well.
Okay, perfect. Good answer there. Got a question here from Know Your Worth. $5 says, "I've been taking principal out on positions. Approximately when will alt run peak in order to pull out larger positions in the short term?" Miguel, go.
Basically, from what I've been able to tell, I mean, when the Well, basically what you're saying is you want me to give you the prediction of when the all-time high is, so you can pull it at the perfect time. But basically, it's if when the coins are really going to be high up in prices, we're going to be towards the tail end of the year. Obviously, we may have a correction somewhere in the summer with altcoins and Bitcoin as well, and then from there we'll have probably a very parabolic end of the year. If you're sitting on a lot of gains, then what you do over time is when your altcoins really run against something like Bitcoin or Ethereum, then what you can do is enroll them into Bitcoin and Ethereum and get more Bitcoin and Ethereum. But at a certain point, right, if your portfolio grows to such a large extent that it's a lot of money for you, you should pull some money out of the market, at least the money you've put into the market by that time. Because especially towards, like, let's just say Q3 or Q4 of this year, you're going to have a discussion with yourself saying, like, how much do I want to leave on the table to essentially, let's see what happens, Yeah. And the other part too is, like, let's just say you grew a portfolio. I don't know your portfolio, but let's just say your portfolio is $50,000 right now, and it grew by the end of the year. It grows somewhere close to, mid six figures, $400,000. I would at the very least take out your initial principal completely out of the market, because what ends up happening to some people is they never cash out, nothing at all.
Okay.
And I know his larger question was about moving money from an altcoin over to Bitcoin, but me and Charlie say this all over the course. At a certain point, you have to have a plan for how you are going to take some profits for yourself, because you're doing this to make money.
Right. And a lot of times I think people get caught up in the making of money. I put in $4,000. You guys have made me $5,300. I think when I hit the $12,000 mark in terms of, well, I'll put it to you this way: when I hit the the $8,000 mark, and you see, even I'm a little bit hesitant to taking some out, but this is why we do this, to create almost kind of not really a passive income, but a regular income. So $8,000 is my mark. Anything over $8,000, I'm going to skim off the top and just use that for whatever, probably invest back in the business. I think that's a good strategy. I think having $12,000 in there as the principal, that's a good benchmark to have. Real quick, Colin Unger, $2 says, why doesn't Cell token move up while other alts do? That's a good question. Now, what are your thoughts, Cultivate?
Yeah, not alts. Cell token, Celsius token, is kind of on a little bit of a schedule of its own, right? So what you'll notice with Celsius is that it moves up in kind of these stair-step type fashions. Once it gets into a consolidation period where it just kind of like goes sideways between a price for a while before going up, has nothing to do with what's happening with the rest of the market. It's just, okay, when will Celsius move? So like one example of how you can look at that is back between last June through the end of July, I believe, or maybe even into August, Celsius, when you looked at the chart, right, was just going sideways between, I think it was about 30 cents to 40 cents. And the rest of the crypto market, all the altcoins were pumping like crazy, right? All the DeFi coins were pumping like crazy. Celsius, though, right, if you looked at the technical charts in terms of timing, right, I was telling everybody around that time before September 14th, that was when Celsius would start to move up. Until that time, it didn't. So just on a technical basis, the chart told us that it was going to start running after the rest of the alts the last time around, right? So start to look for these types of patterns in Celsius, right? Go and back and look at it. What was it doing compared to Bitcoin dominance, compared to Bitcoin Ethereum during those similar times in the past? And you'll start to see some other patterns. But yeah, it does move on its own schedule here.
Okay, very good. Excellent. Very, very good question. And obviously a very, very good answer. Okay, let us go back to the phone lines. Let us go to Kevin in LA. Kevin has a question about AMP. That is AMP. Kevin, go ahead, man.
Hey, Donovan, I just want to quickly address something. I might have spoken too fast when I let you know my name. So it's Cameron.
Oh, Cameron in LA. Okay,
yeah,
my fault.
LA. Yeah, no problem, man. Thank you for having me on. And hey, Miguel, hey, Charlie. Miguel, we had a consultation about a month ago, or within a month ago. So just to remind you who I am. So I wanted to ask you guys again about AMP. So AMP, and Charlie, you mentioned it on your Friday show. Are you familiar? Are you both familiar with this in detail, or just want to get your take on that? And also, what of its potential for it to grow? It's currently trading at 3 cents right now.
Yeah, I just pulled it up again because when I looked at it on Friday, I was just looking at the price chart, right? And the price chart was looking nice, like it started to come out of a downtrend compared to both Bitcoin and dollars. So that part I liked. In terms of the fundamentals, what is the coin? I really don't know. Just to read it here for the people listening, right? AMP is described as a new digital collateral token offering instant verifiable assurances of any kinds for value transfer. And it looks like, right, it's a competitor with Flexa, which is a similar type of coin. But I remember for Flexa's coin in particular, it was mainly sideways movement. It just had like a lot of oscillation compared to Bitcoin and the dollar. So I'm not sure if AMP will do something similar or not, but I'll have to take a look more into this. It looks like it's available on good exchanges like Gemini, Bittrex, Uniswap. Yep. So it looks like it could be a solid coin. My one thing I was just kind of taking a look at is this part of the Polkadot ecosystem, or I'm not 100% sure. So maybe if you can give me a little bit more information there, Cameron.
It's outside of it.
Absolutely. So AMP is actually part of the Ethereum ecosystem.
Oh, okay.
And so AMP has now collaborated with Flexa Network, so they're not in competition.
Okay.
You are right that AMP is a digital collateral token, and it's on the Flexa Network. So let's just say on Gemini, so Gemini Pay is currently powered through AMP. So let's just say I go to Baskin Robbins and a list of other retailers are on there as well. If I want to go buy ice cream at Baskin Robbins, I can pay with Gemini Pay. So I can pay with Bitcoin, Litecoin, or Zcash, all these other ones. So while I pay with my crypto of choice, the merchant receives fiat dollars in return. So
Wow,
that's why I'm like
nice.
very bullish about this.
Wow.
No, I think that's a good idea because there's also a similar service for paychecks, right? Where somebody can be like, hey, I want my company to pay to this area as a third party, and then that they flip it into crypto for people. So this is kind of the opposite. You pay in crypto and then they flip it into fiat for people. So that's a great idea. So it'd be interesting to look at who is involved with the project, what maybe business ties do they have, and how can they kind of get this to market? Because that'll probably be the biggest part of it. Because a lot of these ideas, right, if they're really good, that's great. And then we just want to see, do they have the team that can then drive it to adoption?
Okay, Miguel, what are your thoughts on ANP?
Well, I mean, I like it. I actually owned it quite a while ago. Actually, I originally bought it on Gemini, fractions of pennies. I made a little money on it, and then I just moved it over to Celsius. Actually, if I'm being honest, it's a great token. It's going to be used for payments. The one thing that really caught me off guard about it was like it was a very low market cap token that was on Gemini. And if anyone knows anything about Gemini, they don't add anything unless it's 100% for sure. So I think it's a good token. The one thing that did scare me about AMP was I was having trouble figuring out its distribution of its coins because if you look at its circulating supply right now, let's see, only 11% of its tokens are circulating. So you have a max supply of 92 billion tokens, and currently there's 10 billion circulating of AMP. So I was looking around right there. I was on their Discords and stuff, and I was not finding sort of a schedule of when the coins were going to be released or how they're going to be released. So that's what made me a little shaky about it, and I decided just to move my profits over to Celsius, which did very good for the time. Now that it's starting to move and everything, and then I'm glad it's moving. This is why hodlers win over time. Is if you have conviction about a coin, just leave a certain portion of it. For me, it was a very small position, so that's why I sold all of it. But for someone, if it's someone like for you, if it's like 5% or 4% or something like that, and you have some conviction about it, you can essentially maybe when you make some profits, sell your principal out, keep that hodl bag there for a long time, and then play around with it. But if it's something you're actively going to keep dollar cost averaging into, find out about its how that supply is going to come out, because that dilutes it. You could see the market cap increasing on that token, but your price will stay the same.
Okay, very good. Kevin in LA, thank you very much for that question. Very, very thought-provoking. I've got Kerry in Palm Springs on the line. We're going to go to him after we read some super chats just to get you guys warmed up. Kerry bought 50 Bitcoin back when it was at $300. And he has a very good question to ask about that. We're going to do that coming up. Let's get these super chats out of the way first here. Rob Mash, $5 says, if Bitcoin gets to 50K, I would tell dude to go after Litecoin, the underrated coin. Bitcoin is $1,000 per coin, so I'm good. Litecoin train.
I love it.
voice my ambition. $4.20. Interesting. It says like XRP and Ethereum bottomed out. Buy now. Miguel, your thoughts?
Man, Jacob, my boy.
Listen, it's funny. You can tell we have a lot of first-time watchers when they ask about XRP.
No, he's trolling.
No, he's trolling. This is a buddy. This is a buddy of ours.
Like, see, that is funny as hell because he compared XRP to Ethereum. Okay, you know what? I should have caught that. See, I'm starting to get angry. Ryan Sullivan, good to see you in here. $5 says Litecoin FOMO alert. Buy Litecoin. I have DeFi coins. Should I buy Ethereum throughout the run to cover gas fees? Miguel, this is actually a real question. What are your thoughts on this?
So if for most, actually, what I would do right now, especially if you're buying a small quantity of, let's just say you're buying $100 or $200 worth of coins, try to buy them through Gemini. Gemini actually has a huge assortment of DeFi tokens, as well as Coinbase. So this is one of the few times where I'd actually recommend going through the exchanges themselves to buy the coins. Wait until you have a certain amount of coins before transfer them off, because the gas fees are pretty ridiculous right now. And in terms of saving up money to have ETH for gas fees, of course, you always should have ETH. ETH is one of your major blue chips. I mean, there's only 3 blue chips. There's Bitcoin, Litecoin, and Ethereum.
Right.
These are the only 3 coins that have survived multiple bear markets. They're battle tested. They're going nowhere, and they're institutional. And yes, Litecoin FOMO alert for sure, bro. I'm before I was called dollar cost crypto, I was Litecoin Moses.
Yes, Moses. I thought it was Litecoin Jesus for some reason.
Yeah. Well, no, it was some other people call me like Litecoin. What was it like? What was it?
Hex Jesus.
Hex Jesus. Yeah, they call me Hex Jesus.
Oh my dude, Litecoin. Yeah. We get biblical with it. Let's see. I was just at this one. Let me ask this to Charlie, then we'll go to Carrie in Palm Springs. Nonstop Dre 360 says your thoughts on ADA, your future price predictions.
Yeah, I like Cardano a lot. ADA is a good coin. Charles Hoskinson is doing well with the project. The only knock on Cardano, right, is that they come out with a lot of roadmap, but not so much execution, which actually I think if you look on the back end of Cardano, they actually do a lot of development in the back end, even if maybe their major projects take a little bit of time to come out. But for this month and next month, Cardano is going to be an absolute beast. I think right now, I'd have to double check exactly where it's at. I think it was around 90 cents to $1. Yeah, it's at 89 cents right now. Basically, what I'm expecting with Cardano is to get some resistance, maybe until about the next 1 week or so, around $1. So it might fluctuate between 80 cents to $1.50 through the rest of February. And then I think March, it does pop off to the upside very, very well. Its all-time high is about $1.40. So the next target after that in the short term is about 230 for ADA. And then as John MLD said in the chat, potentially up to $3 by the end of this run. So where does it go by the end of the year? We will see. But I think, $7 to $9 Cardano by the end of this year is very well within reach.
Okay, very good. Good answer and very, very good question. Before we go to Carrie in Palm Springs, let me remind you guys, this episode of Crypto Oasis is brought to you by Crypto Mindset Course. Go to cryptomindsetcourse.com to get on the waiting list now. Space is limited. The course drops on March the 5th. There are 20 2-hour webinars. It is Q&A. Dude, they will take all of your questions. They will answer them extensively. It doesn't matter if you're an amateur, nobody who doesn't know anything about this stuff like me, or if you're a pro who's been at it for a while. This course is absolutely for everybody. That is cryptomindsetcourse.com. Get on the waiting list now for March the 5th. So let's go to Carrie in Palm Springs. So, Carrie, you bought 50 Bitcoin way back when it was $300, and you want to ask the guys if you should sell them. Go ahead and tell us your scenario here.
Okay, Donovan, thank you. First of all, if you guys want to warm up, it was cold 72 degrees out today here and sunny. It was cold. Anyway, Donovan.
Way to troll us there, Carrie.
Come on out, Donovan, with Devin. Okay, it was about 7 to 8 years ago. I paid $330 for and I bought 50 of these things.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah.
17 grand. The reason I bought it was I'm 60. I just turned 63. And back then I had an F buddy who was 28, a hippie chickie. And we just bought it because we wanted to get like shrooms and DMT on the dark net.
I love this guy.
Yes, you did it for the right reasons, my friend.
So I spent about $1,000 on DMT and shrooms, and then I used about 3 coins. So I have about 47 coins left, and I forgot about them until 2 years ago, year and a half ago.
Oh my God!
Wow,
there we go.
Coins, and I haven't done anything. I don't really need the money. So I mean, how do I get out of this, boys? And a second question: what do you think of Dr. Craig Wright? All right.
This is a loaded question. I love this shit. It's
great. Dude has 47 Bitcoin he bought for $330. He doesn't need the money. What should you do with him? Give him to us. No, of course not. Charlie, what is your?
I live in a $2 million home out here in La Quinta.
Oh my God!
Nice.
Dude, in La Quinta, $2 million home. What should he do with this? He's sitting on a pile of money. He doesn't really need it.
I'm worth about $10 million without this money. I don't need it.
Jesus.
Yeah. Well, then what I would recommend is don't sell it, right? There's no real reason to, be like rushing out of Bitcoin because we'll talk about this a little bit more in terms of like price speculation on Bitcoin with it by the end of this show, because I want to show with its market cap, what it can do within this bull market. But yeah, I would say, Bitcoin's going to hit 100,000 for sure. So don't sell it before then. Bitcoin's going to hit probably above 200,000 within this bull market is very possible. And then, you know, an 80% pullback from 200,000, let's say going back down to 40, if you forgot about it for this long, you're not going to care about that. So I think you're in the best position to use it as collateral to continue to have it be a money-making machine for you. So there's different services that will be coming out on this through different banks. Right now, in 2020, all U.S. national banks have been able to custody crypto, right, legally. So BNY Mellon, plus a few other banks like Goldman Sachs and so on, are starting to go towards the custody route so that you can loan some of your Bitcoin to a bank. They pay you a premium and interest on that. And then you can make money that way, and you can use that as a perpetual like money printing machine. You can also use it with stuff like Celsius Network, right? If you hold some Bitcoin on there, you can use that to gain interest, get basically some income off of that. You know, if you want it to be spending money for more times in the desert, or you know, whatever is your fancy, you can use that money however you like, right? And you can use it to where it's continually printing money for you.
What happens if I sell one coin for $47,000, have the money transferred to my checking account? Okay, isn't that going to be a big red flag of the IRS?
No, I mean, it'll be a red flag, but that will, if you're selling a one coin out by itself, right, that's going to be a taxable event. So they're going to get you with capital gains tax. Now that you've held that for more than 1 calendar year, right, the capital gains tax will be about, you know, 15% on that. But if you use it as collateral to gain you income and you never sell it, right, you can get, let's say, for example, how much is 50 Bitcoin right now? So
it's 2.2 million.
2.2 million. So if you put,
I used 3 of them to buy DMT. Think about it. I spent that DMT and shrooms cost me like $125,000 in hindsight, didn't it?
yeah, it was an enjoyable time. You never forget it. That's for sure. Right. So
It better have been good shit, man. I'm gonna tell you what, $25,000. It better have been worth it, my friend.
Hell yeah. I mean, you got to enjoy life, right? So that's what I'm saying is there's no reason to sell your Bitcoin. Use it as a perpetual money-making opportunity. And it's the same as any other asset, right? If you hold real estate, the real estate's been making you money for a long time.
Right.
Are you gonna sell it if it continues to print you money on the regular on a monthly basis? No.
I don't. It's not like I need the money. You know what I mean?
Right.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. So use it to you know, basically increase the amount of money that you do have, and then you don't need to sell it. You can just continually use it to print yourself money. I would say go and take a look at MicroStrategy's YouTube.
You know, I'm gonna use it, bro, to keep banging young chicks.
Yeah, exactly. You can use it to bang young chicks. You can use it to get more drugs. You can use it to go out and do things on the open seas. You can do whatever you want with it. But I would say go take a look at Michael Saylor's video on MicroStrategy's website. He gives a corporate strategy for how to make money with Bitcoin without selling it, without creating a taxable event. If you basically have more than $1 million in Bitcoin, that's what you'll use it for, and you'll never need to sell it.
Gotcha. Good stuff, man. Okay. Thank you very much to Carrie out there in Palm Springs. Let's go now to Eric in Massachusetts. He has an Ethereum question, and he wants to make a case why one should never sell their Bitcoin. Go ahead, Eric.
Hey, thanks for having me on. I just had a quick question first about the Ethereum gas prices, and if you guys think that there's any solution coming up in the near term for reducing those gas prices. Because I think I like Ethereum, the idea of Ethereum being an actual transactable currency as opposed to Bitcoin. But with the gas prices so high, I just don't see how that could happen. Do you guys think there's a near-term solution?
Miguel, what are your thoughts?
Yeah. So, right now there's 2 things they could do. So, currently about 70% of all the transactions on Ethereum are actually Tether. So if you know what that means, that's the Tether USD stablecoin. They can essentially they've already done steps already to move. Tether itself has done steps to create different itself in different networks where it can actually move off of Ethereum, and that'll essentially reduce the congestion on Ethereum short term. From there, there's something they can do which is called EIP 1559, which will help with the gas fees a bit, but the short term solution for Ethereum is something called optimistic rollups, which are on L2. So that's second layer scaling. So that means basically that you'll have layer 1, which will be just classic Ethereum, and then you'll have L2, which is something like a synthetics network, maybe an Aave, or possibly a I'm trying to remember the other one, but basically it's basically it's a network outside of the network where they're playing around in creating receipts, and then those receipts get bunched up together, and then that one receipt gets put into just one block on Ethereum, and then that block confirms all the rest of the other smaller blocks on L2. But sometimes when you do cash out, you will touch L1, which is what you're doing right now on Ethereum. That's short term. Longer term, they'll have something called ZK rollups, which is scaling on L1. And what that will do effectively, it will cut the cost of Ethereum by 42 times. So let's just say, as an example, right? Let's just say you're paying $42 to send some Ethereum right now. It would cost you $1.
Okay.
So with L2, with all those, that will essentially get us to the point where Ethereum can then scale even longer term to Ethereum 2.0, which will have sharding, which is basically, it's almost the same thing. You got to imagine it that it's like, imagine you're doing 42 transaction or 42 blocks worth of transactions condensed into one block, and then that block has 42 other blocks that have one block. So it's kind of inception. That's kind of the best way to explain it, but that's all coming with time. The optimistic rollups are here already. They're putting them on synthetics right now. And synthetics is basically just a derivatives market. So second layer scaling is coming right now. And that'll essentially alleviate that sort of thing, but it's still going to be, we're still going to end up kind of getting hurt on gas fees in the short term, but they've been working on this for quite a while, and I think that they are going to eventually have them through.
Okay. Charlie, what are your thoughts on this guy's situation?
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly right. What Miguel was mentioning there with the Ethereum's, technology will kind of keep pace and start solving this problem. So I don't think there's a huge reason to worry about it. In the short term, it sucks. But yeah, in the long term, it's going to be smoothed out and just fine.
Okay, very good. Now, you want to make the case, Eric, about why one should never sell Bitcoin. Go.
Yeah. So I was actually, I was in the chat, I think a couple weeks ago. My name's Silent E in the chat. And I mentioned that I was never going to sell my Bitcoin. I had 2.5 at the time. I'm now up to 3.5.
Oh, wow. Good job. Very good.
So the way I look at this, and it's very much based off of Michael Saylor's thinking, is if the way you look at the way a lot of, say, old money has invested in the past is that they store their money in extremely hard assets, such as real estate, that really cannot go down, particularly like blue chip real estate, like real estate in Manhattan, right? That's real estate that you're going to hold on to forever, and you're going to be able to profit off of, and your kids are going to be able to profit off of, and your kids' kids are going to be able to profit off of. And the way I see it, Bitcoin's the exact same way. You're buying the New York real estate of a new financial monetary system that is not just going to encompass our entire globe, but eventually, if we do move to other planets, it's going to include those other planets as well. So I know it's a pretty far out there thing, but when you're talking about sort of generational wealth, that's what the Bitcoin opportunity really is. This is an opportunity of passing on huge amounts of generational wealth just by investing in possibly the hardest asset that there's ever been. So that's my case, that if Kerry was real, apparently he was a troll. If he was real, which I would have believed, because I know people personally who have over 80 Bitcoins.
Yes.
I would have told them never to sell. Because obviously, if he was kicking himself for selling it for DMT years ago, he's going to be kicking himself 5 years ago, selling it for a mere $50,000.
Holy God! The reason why, here's the thing, Eric. The thing is this, man. The DMT and all that stuff, because I've talked about the cocaine chronicles of Donovan Sharpe, and I've tried to clean that up a bit. Every once in a while, I'll break out the stories. But anytime somebody calls my show and tells me they don't need $2.2 million and that they want to do nefarious things, he didn't say, listen, you guys think that he said, I want to X, Y, and Z. You guys didn't catch that. He said something very different and very, very, very different. That's when I knew, okay, this guy's a troll. He's trying to get a strike on my channel. No problem. I'm gonna take this episode down as soon as we're done. I'm gonna chop it up, make sure that part gets taken out. But I don't care if you're a millionaire or a billionaire. If the words "I don't need $2.2 million" comes out of your mouth, then I know that you're not a real person.
Yeah, absolutely, Donovan. Don't let these trolls take you down. Don't let anyone take you down.
No.
You're doing great stuff out here. I've been a listener for a year.
Thank you.
And you've helped. I'm positive you've helped so many men. And now that you're helping men get their financial game, get their financial head in the game in crypto as well, I think it's great. You're doing a great job, man.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. Eric in Massachusetts making a good point, asking very good questions, man. He makes a good point, man. And this actually leads to and area code 412 I see on the line. I'm going to get to you here shortly. This leads to my next super chat question. This is a very good question because we talked about this earlier. He wants to know, when should you take profits and how do you know when it's the end of the bull run? Should you leave some money in for the next bull run? I'm going to go to dollar cost on this first, and then we'll go to Charlie.
Sure. When should you take profits? Or when you are feeling very uncomfortable with the amount of money that's become. Everybody has a different risk appetite. Obviously, I mean, me personally, I hold a lot longer, but I have sort of a roadmap in my brain, and something that is also we discuss inside of the crypto mindset course. But when do you know it's the end of the bull market? When you're essentially a bunch of your friends that you've been telling them forever to get into crypto are finally starting to get into crypto, and then their friends are also getting into crypto. And then you're walking around and everywhere you go, it's just crypto this, crypto that, when it wasn't. So you start seeing it's that old adage of like when your taxi driver's giving you, crypto advice tips or crypto tips or something, it's like the old stock market sort of side. And in terms of just, should I leave some money in for the next bull market? Me personally, I'm leaving, a few BTC I'm not selling, as well as some Ethereum and some Litecoin. That's something that I'm just going to hold over. I'm still selling a majority of my portfolio into profits and then reaccumulating during the bear market. But there is something to like not being zero crypto. You should always have some cryptocurrencies, because let me explain it. This is a scenario I say inside of the crypto mindset course, but this is a real scenario right here. Okay. More than likely, we are probably going to hit about $200,000 per BTC. And yeah, an 80% correction on that BTC will, give or take, it could maybe go 85% or so, but It would be 35,000, 40,000 per BTC at the all-time low. So if we take, because Charlie right now will show the charts and stuff in terms of what I'm talking about here in terms of the numbers, but basically that all-time low for the last cycle was $3,000, and that was in February of 2019, and that really only lasted a few weeks, and then that was it. So basically, let's just say you time everything correctly, and you're trying to accumulate Bitcoin. So right off the bat, it's $40,000 for BTC. So you already have to be in a position where you have $40,000 ready to go, right? Or let's just say you're just trying to dollar cost average in. So basically, in order for you to accumulate a Bitcoin as a normal person in the next bear market for cryptocurrencies, you've got to be essentially a Bitcoin maximalist who only invests in Bitcoin. And also you've got to be the type of dude that that knows exactly when to buy at the all-time low. You're buying at the all-time low, buying. If you let's just say you make $100,000 a year after expenses and stuff, you probably have $25,000, $30,000 to invest. And that doesn't all come at one time. It's throughout the year. So what will end up happening, it will take a person dollar cost averaging in who's making a very good six-figure income, more than likely over a year, to get a full Bitcoin.
Okay.
So you're here now, have some money aside, of course, take profits, but also don't stay on zero, because it's going to be much harder to accumulate Bitcoin. This is the time right now. And this is stuff we go over inside of the crypto mindset course. I mean, sign up. We're going to give you guys a breakdown. Every single course, I go through a timeline.
Here we go.
A timeline of where we are now, where are we going, maybe a possible sort of YOLO top, and then from there, what a scenario of what happens when we cool off. And if that's something you want to hear, just come join the course and you will get more of information on that. But it is, you don't want to be Bitcoinless. You don't want to be cryptoless, because when you at least have one Bitcoin, with one Bitcoin, you can always
you have life.
You have life, and you can get yourself in the game. Then from there, when things recover a little bit, then maybe you can dip your toes into some Ethereum, and then get yourself some other coins, and then make gains on that, and then play the game that we're playing right now with Donovan's portfolio right now, where we just took some Bitcoin gains on a long, moved it over to Ethereum, made money on Ethereum. Once it doubles, then we're going to get some altcoins that are going to grow a little faster than Bitcoin, but then eventually we're going to roll that back into Bitcoin and Ethereum. And that's the key right there. But that takes training, and that takes time. So if you want to speed that up, go to the Crypto Mindset course and check it out, you guys.
Okay, very good. Excellent answer. Again, that is cryptomindsetcourse.com. That is cryptomindsetcourse.com. Got another super chat question from Digital Nomad. Wants to know, I read about Nano Hacks. Any contingency plans?
So I'm not sure if he's meaning Nano, the coin, hacks on the Nano coin, or if he's meaning like small hacks on different like things like DeFi coins, right? Have had some like flash loan hacks and stuff like that. So I'll just go with the first Nano interpretation. Yeah. If he's talking about Nano in terms of the coin, what's your contingency plan? Don't buy Nano. So
point, man. Yeah. Don't buy Nano. We're going to answer a couple more super chats. Then we've got Frank in Pittsburgh on the line. He's a young guy. He's 30 years old. He wants to know if he should take out his retirement and invest it in crypto. I'll have him give you guys the details here shortly. Let's go to Solid Snake 04 with the $5 super chat. Says, what do you guys think about speculating on altcoins on the Polkadot ecosystem, such as Polka Starter, Ocean, and the upcoming IDO Polka markets? Dollar cost.
Yeah, I don't think it's a terrible idea. Just make sure to do your research. Obviously, the first projects that do launch on kind of the whole, basically the auctions market for Polkadot are probably going to be more of the blue chips. But just keep in mind that the Kusama side is going first. So that's more of the riskier stuff. And then the actual markets that come out for Polkadot are going to be more of the actual more blue chip of the kind of the altcoins for Polkadot. I think Ocean's going to be one of the first ones that actually goes live already, and you can already purchase Ocean right now. But but make sure to keep it under control, that you're not speculating with your entire portfolio. Okay. Nothing's wrong with getting into that because you're early. I mean, just the sophistication of being able to even know that, like, that's coming out. So you already have to know how to buy Ethereum, go to an exchange. On that exchange, have Polkadot. Then from there, know about the whole Polkadot ecosystem, and then also figure out the locking mechanism, because a lot of these parachain auctions essentially are essentially like a staking sort of a contract. So it's going to be like this. So you have one Polkadot. Obviously, every coin's a little different depending on its supply. But as an example, right, if you lock up a Polkadot for 6 months, you're going to get one token. You lock up your token, your one Polkadot for a year, you get 2 tokens. You lock it up for a year and a half, you get 4. If you lock it up for 2 years, you get 8. And there's kind of the gamble, basically, because if you lock it up for 2 years, the bull market possibly could be over by then.
Oh wow, you don't want to miss out on that, right?
Right, but that's why they're offering you 8. So it's an incentive model. So this is something I've heard people saying, and I don't think that's that terrible of a strategy, but some people are speculating on a quarter of their coins for 2 years to essentially get equal, like if they had only staked their entire bag for 6 months. Saying like, there's a lot of different strategies out there, but be sort of careful. Me personally, I'm not locking up any of my Polkadot or Kusama. I'm just going to buy it off the market once it dips down after the hype chills out, if they're good projects. But that's just me. I'm not going to speculate right off the bat on these tokens until we know more information. But sure, there's money to be made, but you have to be careful. Okay.
Okay, very good. Good answer, man. Very good question. Very good answer. Let's go ahead and bring Frank in Pittsburgh on the line. Now, Frank, you're a young guy. Go ahead and give us the details. You want to know, should you take out your retirement for crypto? So first, tell us how old you are. Tell us what your situation is, and we'll see if we can help.
Yeah, thanks, Donovan. Just
absolutely.
Thank you for your work, brother. 30 years old. I work in social services, so I don't have a whole lot of expendable income. But you know, is it worth me taking out of my retirement fund and basically throwing it into cryptocurrency and taking a chance that's going to go all the way up and be able to have some of that money to pay that back to the IRS sort of thing. I'm wondering if now's the time to do so.
That is an excellent question. Let's go to cultivate crypto with that. I think that's a good scenario. Now I think I know which way Miguel is going to go with this, but I'm interested to hear your thoughts, and we'll get Miguel's thoughts here in just a second. But he's a young guy. He's 30 years old. He works in social services, and good for him, because that is a thankless job. Doesn't have a lot of discretionary income. Obviously has some sort of retirement nest egg. Should he invest that into Bitcoin? Yes or no?
So yeah, there's a lot of different variables here. I'm guessing that it depends on also the amount that he has held up in there, what it's held up in, how much, there's going to be fees on that, pulling it out and everything. So the one thing I would look at is, okay, what are the penalties for pulling it out of there? And what has the gain in there been so far? So whatever he's holding it in now, if it's been gaining, let's say 10% a year or something like that, that's okay. But can you make more with crypto? Sure. So you got to first obviously educate yourself on this area in order to do something like that. And then, what are the penalties that you're going to get for doing that action? So then can you outpace those penalties by the time we get to the end of the bull market? And then if you're going to do that, you're going to want to take crypto more seriously as a long-term strategy. So what I would say is jump into the course, figure out cryptocurrency. And if it's something after, a couple of months of researching, figuring the market out, and really understanding it, and you still believe that that's the right opportunity for you to, grow your nest egg over the long term, which I would say, yes, I think it is that opportunity. But you have to understand what you're getting into, and that's the main thing. So I've had guys, I think it was a few, I won't say anybody's name, but just a few people who we've spoken with in the past, right? They researched about crypto. They put in like a couple $1,000s to begin with. And then right after they understood it, they're like, shit, this opportunity is massive. And then they did take out of the retirement funds to put into crypto. And they have been making better returns on that than they have made in the past by holding those in the assets they currently have. So it is possible, but just, understanding and doing the research is key to that.
So you advise him to do it, just go in with your eyes wide open, right?
Do it, but then understand what you're doing, because there's a lot of people who will just pull off the Band-Aid and go ahead and do it, and then they won't know how to manage that money properly. And that's where it can get difficult. So you have to be able to manage it, because you do become your own bank. And so you have to take on that responsibility a little bit more heavily than you would.
And the risk as well. Dollar cost, what are your thoughts? Frank is 30. He lives in Pittsburgh. He doesn't have much discretionary income. Should he take out his retirement and invest it in crypto? If yes, how much and for how long?
Well, it's sort of like, I'm kind of blind here, so I don't know how much he has in the account or whatever. But in terms of if I think it's the right time, personally, I'm still purchasing cryptocurrency, so I do think it's the right time right now. Okay. If this was maybe 8 months from now, I would be like, no, or just be very cautious in terms of how you come in. But so what Charlie said was aping in all your money at one time without having any education. You have to get educated in this, because if you don't know what you're doing, you could easily have put all your money into something like an XRP or some stable. I mean, I knew a guy that he didn't know what he was doing. He thought he was investing in cryptocurrencies for 6 months, and he was in a stable coin on Coinbase. And that's kind of rough to figure out, that you just basically had your money just sitting on an exchange as $1, staying at $1. So you're 30, you're young, you're in you're in social services, which is good. If you were to take out money from your retirement plan, you make sure to leave money in your bank account to have some sort of dry powder and nest egg for yourself.
Good.
I wouldn't cash out all of it, obviously, but it depends on the situation. Sometimes these retirement plans have you all in bonds, and I don't know why, but they have you in very low yielding assets. You have to be careful. If they have you in something like a Vanguard fund, like an ETF and stuff, those are good. But it's a sort of thing where you have to look at what you have there and essentially, what am I willing to risk here? Obviously, if you're 50 or 40 years old, it's be a little bit of a different conversation. But you're in your 30, which is about which is a good age. So look at it, maybe take a quarter out or so, but you just it's very situational. So we'd have to see what you actually have there. Are you even able to take it out actually? And I would get educated first before coming into the market. But in terms of if it's a good time to get in, I think it is a good time to get into crypto.
Yeah, and that little piece of advice there of making sure that you have enough cash in your current bank account to survive for the next 3 to 6 months should anything bad happen, which we don't expect it to. But right, I have obviously want to not have enough cash to live off of just in case. I think that's a good linchpin and key in that information as well.
Yeah. Yes, get in before $60,000. Thank you very much for the call, Frank in Pittsburgh. The fact that he's young definitely works to his advantage. He's only 30 years old, so he can afford to be a little more, I don't want to say risky, but he can afford to I guess, put a little bit more in. I mean, no risk it, no biscuit, as Super Bowl winning head coach, what Tom Brady, Bruce Arians likes to say. Let's see here. Oh, so let's go to now. I've got another caller on the line from Toronto. We're going to get to him shortly. Tyson Jaleel wants to know, I've made lots on DOT this year, so I just put a few hundred into REEF. What are your thoughts on REEF and where it could go? Let's go to dollar cost on this one.
Sure. If you made lots on, REEF isn't a terrible coin if you can get to it. REEF is basically something like almost like a Rune, which is like an interoperability play. It's like a Uniswap for multiple types of assets. So if you've made a lot of money on DOT and you're just putting a couple $100 into REEF, it's not a terrible idea. I think it's a good coin. In terms of where it could go, let me see if I can find the price on this.
Yeah, your thoughts on REEF and where it could go. That's an interesting question because I guess he's more or less asking for a prediction, right?
Yeah, it's just looking at, so we're about to go in the next. So this is something we said in the last crypto mindset course was we were the late February, March. We're going to go into something called the parachain auctions, which were a lot of these projects that we've been waiting on Polkadot to come out are finally starting to come out. So it's a very exciting time inside of the Polkadot ecosystem, which is not Ethereum. It's a separate thing, but they're allied with Ethereum in terms of interoperability. So REEF is one of those first plays for that to happen. In terms of where REEF is right now, it's currently about 5 cents. It was just 4 cents. It just went up a penny. Wow. So it's currently 5 cents. It's got a market cap of $155 million. I mean, I could see it obviously maybe going to probably 30 cents, or that if it gets a lot of hype and everything like that. Because basically, what's going to end up happening as this market develops, there's going to be so much money sloshing around, and anything that can get the attention of speculators, basically any coin could easily get to $1 billion market cap. But this is where the circulating supply side of it is important, because just because it went to $1 billion does not mean it translates to the price of the unit of the token going up that much. Because what can happen is money's buying the token up, but the team are selling tokens into the ecosystem, so it's sort of diluting your gains. So let's just say the token was $100 million and it got $1 billion. So that's 10x, but it released 2 times the supply. So what it would end up happening is the token would only go 5 times in value instead of 10.
Oh wow.
But the market cap's still $1 billion. So this is why it's really important to see how it's dripping out. But if you look into REEF, I haven't looked into the circulating supply because I haven't invested into any Polkadot tokens yet, other than Kusama and Polkadot. But if it's just being slowly dripped out through staking, then it should be fine. So that means any gains in the market cap will translate over to the price. But
there is still potential for. Well, I mean, obviously, it's not. There's no. I mean, it's not going to grow and make you profits like Bitcoin, but like REEF is still a viable option if you're looking to make money in crypto, though. Correct?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, it's a good token. It's new. It's in the right sector in terms of like the next hype wave, which is going to be in the Polkadot ecosystem. Okay. So it's in all the right. I mean, it's checking all the right boxes. It's just you have to make sure to check out the team. I have not done my personal due diligence in terms of just giving it my stamp of approval, where I'm like putting a bunch of my money into it. But in terms of what I've just seen on it currently, it looks okay, and it's in the right place.
Okay, very good. Quick question for you here. The Great Shogun, $5 says, do you think XRP SEC? Oh boy. Oh, trolls. Now this is an interesting question.
Yeah.
I mean, how good a chance do they have to win? I mean, because if they lose, it's a wrap. But if they win, they get relisted and all that good stuff. I mean, how much do we know about the case with the SEC?
Here's the thing. There's countries like Japan that are actually backing XRP as well. They've done deals. Yeah. So there's countries out here that are backing XRP, and there's monetary reasons for that. So it could be some sort of thing where, like, I wouldn't put it at zero. I would probably give it maybe a 35-40% chance to win.
Those odds.
But that company does have a lot of money, and they could very easily, obviously not saying that this will happen, but they could essentially, pay some fines, slap on the wrist, and keep it moving,
Don't buy XRP, guys. Do not buy XRP. One more question before we go back to the phone lines. This one's for Charlie. He says, is it Ethereum Wheel $5 says, is it possible to buy and sell crypto directly with other people with Cash App, Apple Pay, etc., safely to avoid taxes? That's an interesting question.
So you're able to buy your Bitcoin on the Cash App. You're able to send it peer-to-peer to other people, right? That won't be a taxable event in itself of just, buying it and sending it, right? So then for the other person receiving it, right, they're going to have a taxable event at some point in the future if they sell it. But yeah, you can basically have a non-taxable event just by sending it, buying it, and selling it through the Cash App. But with Apple Pay, no, they don't have any crypto options yet. There's a lot of speculation right now of when will Apple start adding crypto. There are some people, when you ask that question, that say, it's never going to happen. But actually, I think it's basically inevitable. And we can go into that it's a bit of a different subject. But basically, yeah, use Cash App, buy Bitcoin, send it to somebody else, peer-to-peer, no problem.
Simple as that. Very good. Excellent. Okay, let's go back to the phone lines here. So we have a caller on from Toronto. You had a very interesting topic to talk about. Go ahead, caller. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My mother's Texas, actually.
I have no idea who that was. That's a different person. That's the different person than I screened. I have no idea what that person is. So, you guys are probably not familiar with Charlie Brown. He said like
when the adult is talking,
like with like a mute. I don't know what that was. I couldn't quite understand the guy's name, and I think that was on purpose, so I couldn't say his name. That was clearly a troll. This is why we screen these phone calls, guys. This is why we do this.
The more trolls, the better. Bring them.
Man. Know your worth, $5. So speak on it, guys. Thanks. Need to consult regarding fund. I can send an email. Where should he send an email?
Charlie at cultivatecrypto.com. Just make sure to put know your worth fund into the subject line, so I remember what it's pertaining to.
Perfect. Rebel Evolution with the 100 DKKs, which is a little over $16 with a chat with a super chat statement so large it covers up almost all of our faces. It says, loving your analysis, Cultivate. I take my positions through RSI and MACD. Binance futures, easy to double your money even quicker. But my question is, does your paid service provide entry signals?
The answer is yes. If you go over to cultivatecrypto.com/shop, right, you can get the algo service over there. So the algo service, what it is it gives different analysis on what's happening with the Bitcoin trend, other coins as well, including Ethereum, and basically limitless virtually on the number of altcoins there. So yeah, if you know what you're doing when it comes to the futures and you just want like the optimal entry signal on Bitcoin or on other cryptocurrencies, then yeah, the the Cultivate Crypto Algo service would be the best for you there.
Okay, very good. Excellent. A good question. Very, very good answer. Oh, let me get back to my comment section here. Oh, there we go. Let's see. Wake Dog. Oh, that's just cool. Says, what are your thoughts on liquidity farming and staking tokens that earn interest like Hex? Is holding staking better than trading? Thanks. Dollar cost. Let's go to you with this one.
Sure. Liquidity farming. Liquidity farming, you can make a lot of money with liquidity farming, but the problem is it's not as crazy as a game as mining in terms of, but you do need a decent amount of money. So I mean, if you're going to start liquidity pool farming, I would recommend that you probably need more than $10,000 to make it profitable. to do that. So that means essentially you're buying a token, let's just say like a hex to ETH pair, and I buy some hex and I buy some ETH, and then I put it inside the unit swap pair, and then every time it's bought and sold, I get a little bit of the fees in between, and then when I pull out, I essentially have some profits. But you have to be careful with something called impermanent loss, where what ends up happening is, let's just say someone just keeps buying up hex, and then what ends up happening is that you end up when you pull your tokens out, you have a lot more Ethereum, but you have no hex, which depending on your situation, that may be like you might be pissed off about that.
Woo, yeah, I would be.
So that's way in terms of staking tokens interest. I mean, yeah, there's you can earn a lot of money staking your coins, but obviously with staking, you're waiting quite a while for that money. But so it's just like hodling. But if it's money you don't need, that's why like things like hex, tokens like hex in terms of staking it, you're staking for the long term. So you're doing a 1 to 15 year stakes. And you essentially, it's money that you don't need right now. You need so you buy it, you stake it for a year, up to 5 years, and then you forget about it and you come back to it when it's ready.
Gotcha.
So it's not money. It's not quick money. It's long-term money, but it's just good money.
So this is long-term then?
Yes. Yeah. Something like a hex or something, a token where you can stake for a really long time. This is long-term money that you don't need right now. But if it pays off and the token survives, you're going to make a lot of money, but you got to play. If it's something that you're willing to get into, you got to make sure that it's a side of your portfolio that you don't need right now. So if you're just trying to make some quick money right now, have that portion of the portfolio, and then have sort of a long-term side on that side. And then, because in order to really make money in these systems, you have to be staking for longer than a year. So that's a long time for some people, especially in crypto.
So you got to be patient with it.
Yes, very patient.
Right. You're not going to realize the fast returns that you get from Bitcoin.
Right.
All right. Excellent answer. Android 17 says going to DCA into the blue chips until July. After that, buy stable coins to gain interest on the Celsius cap. Appreciate that. Cameron H with the $5 super chat says, thank you guys for your input on AMP and the Flexa network. I'll be sure to take a look at the coin distribution. Can't wait for the course too. Again, what is it? CryptoMindsetCourse.com. Here's a question from Counselor Murray. We're going to go to Cultivate Crypto on this. Thoughts on Chainlink? I'm loaded on Ethereum right now.
I love Chainlink. So I guess if you're loaded on Ethereum, right, if you're basically, I think what he's looking here is to diversify. Is Chainlink the right one at the current moment? That's another question, right? So I love Chainlink. I think it will outpace Bitcoin and Ethereum for the majority of the bull market. Right now, it's starting to come back, right? It's getting close to hitting our target of about $38 on its most recent move. I think right now it's currently about $34. So when it was about $15, we were talking about it going to $27 and then $38. So it's right on track. And during that time, Ethereum and Chainlink, right, there is basically on par, if not Ethereum was outpacing Chainlink. So do you need to get out of all of your Ethereum? Definitely not. But focus on coins on the crypto to crypto charts, right? So what do I mean by crypto to crypto? Ethereum to Chainlink, or Ethereum to synthetics, or Ethereum to whatever other coin you're looking to get into. If you're going to be offloading your Ethereum into any other cryptocurrency, you want to make sure that cryptocurrency is either A, in the short term, outpacing Ethereum, or B, in the long term, having the potential to at least keep pace with Ethereum, if not outpace it. So when we look at something like Celsius Network, right now it's not outpacing Ethereum, but over its entire history, it mainly has. So Celsius is a really easy one to get into as well. So yeah, that's what I would look at there. But Chainlink's an awesome coin regardless.
Dollar cost. What are your thoughts on this? Chainlink, he's loaded with Ethereum now. What should he do?
Yeah, I mean, it just depends. If he's all Ethereum, yeah, I would more than likely get some other coins as well. But make sure to keep your portfolio balanced. Where some people are like a bulletproof portfolio would be like Bitcoin and Ethereum. You can't really lose with that portfolio, but some people want to increase the amount of multiples they'll be able to make on their money. So getting something like a Chainlink, a Chainlink, Synthetics, Aave, and a Celsius, that would be a very good portfolio of blue chips and light blue chips. And it's a very hard portfolio to lose money on as long as the bull market continues. Yeah.
Oh, sorry about that. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, yeah, sorry about that. I was I used the time that you guys talk to screen phone calls. I'm a multitasker like that. I thought you'd go on a little bit longer. No problem. Let us go to Vic in Toronto. Now, Vic in Toronto actually called us last week, And he had, and I don't know if you guys remember this or not, but he called last week. He had an extra $20,000 to invest. I think he invested some or all of that money, and he made some money. Vic, talk about the progress that you've made since last week and that $20,000.
Yeah, so last week I called. I told you about that 20K I wanted to put into. Remember, like I said, 50% Ethereum, 25% Celsius, and another 25% Cardano. Worked out great. I made an extra $6,000. But
Nice.
So I kind of realized trading on Uniswap with the MetaMask, man, these gas fees, like they're killer, eh? Because like I've traded with, stocks and stuff like that. It's always cost money, but these gas fees are killer. So I did a little bit of research and like I found a company called Loopring, right? Which you can do some trading and the fees are much less because I guess the way they have their platform, I don't understand it fully, but it's much cheaper. So I did a little bit of research and then I actually bought some Loopring as well, like the token itself. Yeah. So I want to ask you guys, what do you guys think about the Loopring platform and if the price might go up, like if it's a solid project and if the price might go up in the future?
We'll go dollar cost and then we'll go cultivate. Dollar cost, that's an interesting question, man.
Yeah, Loopring's a great product. I mean, I've known about it for quite a while. Yeah, essentially, this is what we're talking about when it comes to L2s. So this is second layer scaling. So this is an exchange. It's basically Uniswap put in with ZK rollups, optimistic rollups, depending on how they ended up doing it. But it's the same concept. So basically, they just batched your transactions together and then put it as one block. So they can charge you a very small fee for trading on Loopring. The only detriment that I've had with Loopring that slowed its progress down a little bit is because they ask for full KYC to provide liquidity on the liquidity pools. So a lot of people just like to be in and out privately, and with something like a Loopring, if you want to provide liquidity, you have to essentially KYC yourself to do that. Eventually, I think they will release that, and then it's off to the races with that. I think a lot of people are going to start using Loopring. I do hold Loopring myself. I think it does. I think it's going to do very well. Yeah, it's a great token, great thing. That's the only thing is when you have any detriment. So people just love using stuff that is just there's no hiccups. I can just go on a website and I'm using it. I just connect my MetaMask and it's cool. But with this, you have to sign up. I know that sounds really dumb to say, but like that's how lazy people are. Is like, oh, I have to make an account. Oh my god!
Dude, not point and click, man. They're out.
Yeah. So that slowed the growth of Loopring down, but these gas fees are essentially like it's such a kick in the balls pretty much for these guys that they're like, I gotta use it. So people are using it, but a lot of coins on there don't have as much liquidity as obviously Uniswap. So in terms of big purchases and stuff, you could get some slippage. But at least I know something like a Celsius to ETH pair. I know the Celsius team itself has added liquidity to that, so that pair is very liquid. In the future, as the gas fees keep going higher and higher, I think Loopring is going to do very well. I think currently it's like 80 cents, I think, per Loopring. I haven't seen it in a minute.
Okay, very good. Vic in Toronto, did they answer your questions to your liking? Did you have anything else?
Yeah, no, he did answer it. It's all the same stuff that I saw too, the liquidity problems for sure, and like it's not that easy to use. You're right, like as MetaMask and Uniswap, but I'm hoping that none of it was easy to use in the beginning. To be honest with you, like when it first came out, I'm hoping in the future like Loopring will become that easy, and because of the low gas fees, it might like take off in popularity.
Is that possible, Charlie? Will it get easier to use, or is it always going to be non-comprehensive?
No, I mean, they can always improve their UI, improve their UX, improve their backend, a lot of different things, but so can the other projects, right? So will the other projects continue to have that problem? Is that the only problem Loopring is looking to solve? As long as they're going to have more complex problem solving in the future as well, not just that issue, because I do think Ethereum will solve that problem. Then if that's the only thing that they have as an edge against the rest of the market, I don't think that's enough to scale them long term. So we'll just see, how they go. But you don't want to it depends on how much you're putting into. You don't want to put all your money on the hope that a project will do X, Y, or Z, because there's a lot of if, ands, or buts about that process. So do more research, go into the Telegram of the Loopring community, ask these questions as well. And really, the more involved you get with the people who are deep into these projects, the more you'll understand it and see that future possibility as more of a certainty rather than just a hope.
Perfect. Vic in Toronto, man. Listen, keep us posted on your progress, man. It's good to hear guys, having success. Dude, you made $6,000 this week, man. That's nothing.
Yeah.
Congratulations there.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Vic in Toronto checking
All right,
in.
thanks.
The $26,000 man. Doing awesome right now. Man, he made $6,000 in 1 week, man.
That's awesome.
Dude, almost as good as I did. I'm not doing any work, man. I'm letting you guys do all the work for me. Black Magic 553 with the $5 super chat says, keep up the great work, boys. Appreciate that. Matt with the $5 Canadian says, when do you do a wallet transfer from Bitcoin to Bitcoin? How do you know how many confirmations it is going to take before it's complete? Let's start with Cultivate Crypto on this one.
So yeah, you just go back to Bitcoin standards, and usually by its standards, it needs at least one confirmation to complete. Right? Usually, one confirmation takes at least one block, which on average is 10 minutes. By the time it has 3 confirmations complete, it should be enough to have the entire thing go through. So anywhere between 10 to 30 minutes is basically what you should be waiting for. If it takes any longer than that, right, then it shouldn't. There might be an issue, so make sure that you understand how to look for that. But yeah, just 1 to 3 confirmations should be fine. By the time you get through 6 confirmations, I mean, it's locked and loaded. There's no way that anybody's going to change that transaction. So
okay, very good.
Yeah.
James Young with the $5 super chat. Another $5 super chat. He says, when do you think the bull market will be over? October or December or next year? Dollar cost. That's hard to say, right?
Yeah.
We're talking about possibly $100,000. If we had $100,000, let's say by December, that's got to be the end of the bull market, right? Or am I wrong about that?
No. I mean, to tell you the truth, I personally think that it all depends on how hot we end up going. But I mean, more than likely, I think we'll probably be over 6 figures somewhere in the third quarter, maybe fourth quarter. Right. And this bull market does have the ability to bleed into the next year. So it could possibly, turn over somewhere in the summer of next year to maybe the beginning of the second quarter. But it all depends. We need more information. The closer we get to this, the more we can essentially have a more of a concrete picture of what's going to happen. But from what I'm seeing right now, at the very least, let's just say it just repeats what's going to happen. Then we're going to hit kind of all-time highs, sort of November, December. And some of the altcoins to Ethereum will hit all-time highs in January. But I personally think this is going to get very much extended because of all the big money that's coming in. They're still not in yet. So as they're getting in, then eventually then the retail gets in, and then the mania starts. And then when that ends, it could be much later into next year. But obviously nothing's promised, but this bull market's going to be really nice.
Good. Listen, it's going to be really, really nice. The guy from Toronto, I see him on the line now. Hang on a second. Let me see if I can get him on. Oh, he disappeared. Like, he keeps calling in and then he keeps disappearing. So keep trying. I keep forgetting this guy's name. It's a really weird name. Keep trying. I know Blog Talk Radio can be a little bit glitchy at times. But keep trying, man. I'd like to get you on here. Here's a $5 super chat from Cameron H. He says, do you think Apple Pay adopts crypto as a form of payment? It can disrupt the growth of AMP's Flexa network for Gemini Pay.
Yeah, it'll disrupt a lot of things. And so it really depends on the companies that you have getting into crypto right now in terms of payment systems, right? Are Visa, MasterCard, PayPal, and then if you get Apple coming in here too, it's going to be a lot of competition in this space. So anything that's crypto native, right? The one advantage that a crypto native platform will have, hopefully, is that you're able to pay directly peer-to-peer with crypto. Now, MasterCard sees that as something that PayPal is not doing, right? PayPal, like Robinhood, doesn't allow you to transfer the crypto off of the platform. So MasterCard wants you to be able to do that, apparently. So we'll see kind of what are the different nuances between these different services. And yeah, if they can take like a small market share of like a crypto to crypto payment, or are they going to be trying to be taking a larger market share and have more competition with the bigger companies? So that's how I would look at that. But yeah, there's going to be a lot of disruption in this space over the next 5 years.
No, I agree. I think with all of this new, this is a new economy, man. Like, this is a whole new market, and there's going to be a whole lot of new players. We're going to see a lot come. We're going to see probably most of them go.
Yep.
Still, I rise with the $10 super chat says, I usually hone in on a pattern, so I try to predict future movements, giving me the edge you need to turn in an intraday profit. Very good there. Matt with the $5 Canadian super chat says, thanks for answering my question. I have a transfer that's been still going through for 21 days and is at 3,123 confirmations. How do I fix that? That is very interesting.
You should have it by now.
Yeah,
you should have it, right? Like, what are your thoughts, dollar cost?
That seems to me that maybe he that sounds like he probably did that out of a custom wallet, and he put a very low gas fee, I'm guessing, on the Bitcoin network.
It's talking about the Bitcoin network fee. Yeah, never mind.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So how do you what do you guys think? How should he fix this? Like, is there a way, or because dude, that's a lot of
totally. Yeah, I mean, after 30 minutes to an hour, it should have gone through. So it really depends on what service he used, right? So if he's using a service like Coinbase, right, which is a third-party service to another wallet of his, then he should contact the support for one of those two services, if not both of them. But yeah, if it's already been confirmed, it should show up in the other wallet. So if he's looking on like Blockchain Explorer and he can see that everything in the blockchain is fine, just make sure to contact those services to make sure that maybe there's something on their UI that's not telling you that you have these coins, but maybe they're already in your wallet. You really have to kind of check with what tools you're currently using.
Sorry about that. That is Kevin Samuels calling me. Yeah, Kevin, for whatever reason, Kevin always calls me when I'm on the air. It is actually quite funny. Love the guy. I'm gonna have to call him right after the show. Hang on a second. It threw me off my game there. Okay, very good. So that is very odd. 3,123.
Okay, he'll just contact the support of whatever service he's using.
The gas fee. That's my amateur advice. Adrian Perez, $5 says, appreciate what you guys are doing. Being a sponge right now. Appreciate that. Dollar cost. Nonstop Dre 360 wants to know with the $2 super chat, what is your price prediction for Ethereum by December? Boy, that's a good one.
Yeah, that's a good one. So let's just say if we're still in the bull market, which I very much think we will be by December, we'll probably be looking around probably 12,000, 15,000.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Oh yeah, and by that point, you guys be pulling all kinds of neat tricks with my portfolio.
Double backflips, man. Double backflips.
yeah. Monkey double backflips, as he likes to say. Guys, we are gonna wrap it up right there. As usual, another dynamite show, man. Lots of great information. I'm gonna take this episode down and truncate the part where what was his name? Kerry in Palm Springs called in. Yep. Because he said a few things. He didn't really say anything that could get me kicked off, but he definitely said something that could most definitely get me a community strike. I'm glad that nobody else caught it. I most certainly did, because of course this is my channel. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to end up, I'm going to repost this and you guys can look at it through there. Cultivate Crypto, Dollar Cost Crypt, as usual. You guys are spectacular. You guys are the best in the business, guys. CryptoMindsetCourse.com, my friend. CryptoMindsetCourse.com. That course drops on March the 5th. You are going to get 20 separate webinars. This is 20 individual webinars. It is a front to back, A to Z Q&A, regardless of your experience level. If you're an amateur, if you're a pro, if you're looking to improve your portfolio, if you're just getting started, the CryptoMindsetCourse.com, that is absolutely for you. We have one last super chat here, and I'll throw this to the both of you. He says, I mean, ledger hack, any contingency plan. So there we go. So he clarified that earlier. So Charlie, you get the first crack at this one. What now that you have this new information, what's your advice to this guy?
Yeah. So in this case, Ledger, right, has lost to Trezor overall. So I would just, instead of like worrying about, could it get hacked again? How's my information going to be put out to different people? Blah, 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 blah. I would just take my coins off of it, get a Trezor or a different type of cold storage wallet. Like a cold card is also good. Whatever you want that's not Ledger, and just move your coins over to somewhere that you feel is more secure, so you don't have to worry about your contingency plans there.
Okay, very good. Dollar cost.
Yeah. And also, I was never really cool with people like it asking you to put your address in and stuff to sign up for the cert, because it wasn't the wallet itself that got hacked. It was the kind of the main the database of Ledger, and Ledger essentially had like, you know, your email address and some people's actual house address as well in there, and in quantities as well. So a lot of information was leaked on that side. But in terms of coins being stolen, no. But people have been getting kind of these phishing emails like, hey, this is Ledger and blah 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 this, hey, just click on this real quick, and then they would be as essentially to have malware on your computer so they could hopefully steal your coins. So yeah, so it's a lot of people just changed their emails, and that's kind of what a lot of people have been doing. But I've used Trezor, so I haven't had that problem.
Okay, perfect. Very, very good answers. Once again, guys, fantastic show today. That is going to do it for Crypto Oasis. Again, cryptomindsetcourse.com. You guys absolutely positively need to get on the waiting list for that. That is going to be a fire course. I would love to be able to attend that. I just don't have the time. I'm way too busy doing this stuff. This is why I just gave them all my money. I said, hey, guys, just go and make me money. These guys have made me $5,000 in, what is it now, just under 2 months. $5,300 in just under 2 months. And this was during sort of a decline. It went all the way up to $47,000, $47,000 and dropped all the way down to 30. And these guys still made me money. These guys know exactly what they're doing. Tune in next week for another exciting-ish edition of Crypto Oasis. We'll see you guys next week. Take care.